which I have no problem with, obviously, but I'm not gonna be like,
give me cash.
Hey guys, Tasha here. Thanks for dropping by. If you're new to my channel, I talk about minimalism, healthy living, and family things. Today, I wanted to do a video that kind of goes hand in hand with my previous video about how we decluttered 75% of our toys. If that video sounds interesting to you, I'm going to link it here and in the description below. Alright Tasha, so yeah, you have 75% less toys in your house. That's cool, but how do you keep it like that? That's a great question, Self.
I'm glad you asked.
So one area that we have extended our minimalism to is that of birthday parties, because birthday parties can easily kind of get out of hand and you could have a lot of toys come in at that time because of well-meaning family members and friends who just want to shower your child with awesome gifts, right? Therefore, I thought I would dedicate this video to how we handle our kids' parties as minimalists. When we had our first kid, we threw him a first birthday party as most parents do. They say that the first birthday party is really for the parents. I would agree because we
definitely fit that stereotype.
So yeah, we had a ninja party for our son for his first birthday party, and it was amazing, if I do say so myself. We asked everyone to dress in black. We had a ninja obstacle course with a ninja horse.
Because ninjas have horses.
And we had the ball pit that we finally got rid of 7 years after that. We also had favors in takeout boxes because
brilliant.
And we had red ninja headbands that we sewed and made for everybody.
And forced them to wear.
That's my dad as a ninja in the center of that pic. And we even made a cardboard cutout of our son as a caricature. And he was a ninja baby. So yeah, it was super extra because that's what we thought we needed to do. And while the outcome was great, the whole process of it was super tiring and stressful. We were working up until the very last minute, and I'm sure there were also like 60 people or more at the party, so we had to think about feeding everybody, getting all the favors, entertainment, all that stuff. Yeah,
we definitely went overboard.
The thing about it is, does my kid even remember how super awesome and extra his first birthday party was? No, he does not. So anyway, with the big party came tons of presents, as you would expect, many of which were toys. And while we are forever grateful for all the fun things we got, over time we realized that these toys were just adding more clutter to our lives, especially at the end of the day when we would have to be the ones to clean everything up because our 1-year-old couldn't be bothered to help clean up the messes he was making
all day long.
Not to mention, it was just visibly annoying. There was just a lot of visual clutter. Seeing a constant mess around the house, it wasn't like the best quality of life at the time. After we minimized our toys a couple years ago, we realized that we needed to start approaching birthday parties a little differently. As we dove deeper into minimalism, we realized that we just wanted to keep our parties smaller in general. And then that also made it easier to plan and way less stressful. With less people attending, less presents, less potential for clutter afterwards. Here's how we approach our kids' birthday parties now, which actually has been even easier due to pandemic and social distancing. Of course, this is just what works for us and our family. You know, you could just take what we say with a grain of salt and just use what you feel might work for your own family. At the end of the day, I think we can probably agree that we would just like to have less stressful family events such as birthdays or other parties, and perhaps also just less clutter around the house in the aftermath of those said events or parties, easy cleanup, things like that. So yeah, these are the things that we take into consideration and we put into practice when planning our parties. Number 1, get input from your kids. We let the kids help us figure out what kind of theme they want, what kind of food they want. Typically, my son and I start talking about his birthday a month or 2 ahead. Sometimes when we're spending time together before bed, he might just talk a little about some of the things he would like. Honestly, every time this happens, His theme kind of changes over time, and as it gets closer to his birthday, it ends up being something even more simpler. Number 2, we really think about our guest list. Lately, we've been celebrating with close family and our adult friends at different times other than the actual party day for my son or my daughter. Since my kids don't really have any cousins around in their age that are nearby, it's usually just like grandparents, aunties, and uncles. We'll find a different day to visit and just kind of celebrate more intimately with them. Since we have more than one kid, we used to invite both kids' friends, but now we just focus on the kid whose birthday it actually is, and that helps to cut down the guest list as well. Especially for pandemic, we straight up asked our son, who are the 4 friends you really want to invite to your party? And he thought about it, and he was able to give us a list, and it was no problem to him that he couldn't invite more because he understood the situation. In the future, when everything gets a little more back to normal, we'll probably ask him for 5 or 6 friends and go from there. If we can comfortably fit a few families in our house and celebrate together, for us that's cool. It also obviously really helps in terms of food planning and things like that. We don't have to worry about spending tons of money and possibly overestimating.
Which I have done every single other party that I've ever had for my kids.
At any rate, I really try to pay attention to who my child gravitates towards, who they're usually talking to a lot, who they usually talk about from school, things like that. So William's party in October 2019, we celebrated with a total of 11 kids from about 8 different families because we did have a venue. We could have definitely invited twice as many kids to that venue, but we wanted to keep things small. So we only had maybe like 6 tables set up, and that was more than enough for the families and the kids. And we felt like that was super manageable. We also did that party as a brunch party, so that made the food super easy. In terms of budget and planning, it was so much easier, way less stressful, and the kids seemed like they had a fun time. For Harper's 3rd birthday, which was February 2020, we had a total of 4 kids that were able to make it. So in total, celebrating together were my 2 kids and 4 other kids, so 6 kids. 2 friends that were really her age weren't able to make it due to scheduling issues. But at any rate, it was a fun party. We were able to have some entertainment. Silly Joe was awesome, and we were happy that we had some budget to spend on that rather than worrying about tons of food and things like that. And the kids seemed to have a great experience. For Will's 8th party, which was just this last October 2020, due to the pandemic, we did an outdoor party in the yard. Only 2 were able to make it, which was totally fine, but they had a blast. They played in the backyard, they got to eat ice cream.
And William got to have his fruit tart cake, which is really all that he wanted.
He was just really happy to see some of his friends that he hadn't seen in months. Really, all he had asked for by the time his party came around was that some friends would be able to come over.
Check.
And a fruit tart cake.
Check.
Honestly, I don't really think that kids require that much for their birthdays. They just want some quality time and some cake. At least that's my experience. So I think it's really important at this juncture to talk about setting expectations, and the way that you could do that is with your invite. So in terms of our invites, we just do evites. Basically, I just make a graphic and I put all the info on it, and I just text or send it to people, or I make a Facebook group and I add all the people there that we would like to invite to the event. On our invite, we make sure that people know that we are not expecting any gifts. What?
Are you sure about that?
It's taken us a bit of time to get to this point, but let me just point out a couple of things first. My favorite phrase that I put on every invite, at least for the last couple years, is your presence is a present in itself. I know.
It's good, right?
If I put that, then that automatically makes people think, okay, they don't want toys. Maybe they have enough toys and they just don't want anything new. At the same time though, they might still insist on getting you a gift, at which point they might consider
Cash?
which I have no problem with, obviously, but I'm not gonna be like,
Give me cash.
right? Like, I really don't care. Honestly, I just want to make sure that we've invited who we could invite and that they are able to hopefully make it, because that's what my son really wants for his birthday. But if they want to give cash, that's a bonus. So anyway, if anyone really insists on giving something, you could use that as an opportunity to say, hey, if you really want to gift my child with something, you could contribute to his college fund, which I don't mind, invest in the future, or you could gift him an experience. Because we've suggested gifting experiences, things that my son could do, you know, like go to some fun center or go make some pottery somewhere or go painting or things like that. We've gotten some pretty cool gifts over the years that are experiences, and he enjoys them, and we're really thankful for those. What we did ask for our guests to do, especially so they don't feel like they're coming to the party empty-handed, and they don't even have to really do it. It's more for their kids to do. We asked them to make a handmade birthday card for our son, and he has gotten a kick out of that. He's gotten some really awesome handmade cards from his friends, and he cherishes them so much. It was really cute to watch him read every card and just take every message to heart. And he just loved the drawings. He was like, oh my gosh, these are so good. So those are the kinds of things that he really cherishes. And it doesn't even cost any money. And it takes like zero effort, especially from parents, right? You don't have to go shopping for my kid or anything like that. You just tell your kid,
just make something for your friend.
and then that's it. It's awesome. The fourth thing I will talk to you about is the actual party itself. Some things that we do to keep them chill or like basically
Low stress.
First off, keep those decorations to a minimum. Yes, of course you should be able to tell that it's a party and that we are celebrating someone's birthday. But no, I don't think you have to be so particular about every single detail and painstakingly handcraft every minute detail just to make it Pinterest worthy. It's cool if you want to do it, but at some point, that cupcake will be eaten and the cupcake topper will find its way in the trash. Or that candy station with all those intricate name boards will eventually be torn down. For me, I realized that I was putting so much time into making those teeny details, and it was cute in the moment, but it was just a huge time suck and physically draining.
I am not about that life anymore.
And I'm just cutting the fat. You know, the stuff I don't want to do anymore.
I'm not gonna do it.
People don't want to tell you it's that simple, or maybe saying that out loud sounds like, but I think it's okay to say you don't want to do that. Like, I love my kids, but I don't really even think they care about that kind of stuff. I think they rather just eat the candy, eat the cupcake, eat whatever, have fun with their friends, and they're good. I feel like it's on us as parents, based on Pinterest and everything you see online, that makes you think you have to do that kind of stuff or else you're not a good parent. I am here to tell you that you are doing the best you can. And the best you can do doesn't have to be the best that
Pinterest does.
Like I said though, if you want that Pinterest stuff, you don't have to do it yourself. You can like hire somebody. But if it's stressing you out and you are like up late nights, maybe it's time to approach it a little differently, because I don't think that those kinds of things need to be the cause of stress in our lives. I think they need to just be all about the celebration. Yeah? Are you with me? Another thing I would suggest is just being intentional with your party favors. I don't even know if you really need anything, truthfully. I found that kids don't really seem to care that much about what's in the favor bag.
If it's not edible.
One thing I do know from personal experience is they like candy and chips and
Other consumables.
I used to put a lot of time into it. I used to even personalize that stuff, but I got over that really quick. Also, of course, you save money if you don't go overboard with favors. Just like you save money if you don't go overboard with food. You save money if you don't go overboard with decorations, things like that. But again, a disclaimer, you can't just spring this on your kid if they've been used to huge parties and lots of friends and tons of gifts. You kind of have to work on it. It's more of like a long-term goal, if you may. I mean, yes, we did our initial declutter like 2 years ago, but we also, while doing it, we explained to our kids what was happening, how we want to give more to others that might need it more than us, how we don't need all this extra stuff in our house because it's just taking up space. And they themselves saw how easy it was to clean up. You know, at the end of the day, they're like, yeah, I like having less stuff in the house because it's really easier to clean up. And that was from my 6-year-old at the time. So he could tell an instant difference in just the way even our family dynamic was. Like me and the husband, I feel like ever since then, we've been much more calm. Even at the end of the day, even if we're tired from work, we're much more chill, and we're able to still be fully present with our kids and just have good conversation and just be,
just chillax.
I really am so thankful that we have embraced minimalism, but it's still a process. There's still so much to be done, but I'm excited for continuing on this journey. Sometimes I feel like in our society, we're conditioned to think that more is always better. But I think that if we just change the narrative in ourselves, if we just change our mindset and we have gratitude for what we already have, then that can make such a difference in the quality of our life. We no longer have this urge to obtain the next big thing, the newest toy, the hottest electronic, things like that. Over time, we have realized that our experiences, the quality time, the trips that we got to take together, the things that we got to do together, those are the things that our kids remember at the end of the day. So once we catered our lives more towards those experiences, more towards just having gratitude for the time that we get to spend together with our family and our loved ones, our lives changed for the better. And we now find joy in living with less. So I hope that you got something out of this video. I hope that it has added some value to your life. As always, here's to simple and intentional living. I'll see you next time. Bye.